All right, you degenerates, let's cut the crap and dive right into this shit. Today's deep dive. Kyiv Oblast. Ukraine. Yeah, that place.
Ah, Kyiv Oblast.
You know, most people hear Ukraine and just think war zone. But trust me, there's way more to this place than bombed-out buildings and Putin's bullshit.
It's a region rich in history, culture.
And let's not forget the fucking weird geography, unexpected wonders, and an economy that's more diverse than a goddamn rave.
You're not kidding. Kyiv Oblast often gets overshadowed by its flashy capital, but it's a fascinating region in its own right.
Speaking of Kyiv, first things first, Kyiv Oblast is fucking massive, right? Like 35 times bigger than the city itself. That's just insane.
That's right. And to be precise, Kyiv City is actually a separate administrative entity, not technically part of the oblast, even though it's, well, the administrative center. Kind of like Washington, D.C. not belonging to any state.
Okay, I get it. But still, 35 times bigger.
It's a sprawling region, and it gets even weirder when you throw in the exclaves.
Exclaves. Sounds like some Dungeons and Dragons bullshit.
Haha, not quite. It just means there are bits of Kyiv Oblast that are geographically separated from the main region. The most famous example, Slavutich.
Slavutich. Isn't that the town they built for the Chernobyl evacuees after the whole nuclear meltdown fiasco?
Exactly. Because of the Chernobyl disaster, Slavutich ended up physically located within Chernihiv Oblast, but, get this, it's still administered by Kyiv Oblast.
That's wild. Talk about a bureaucratic nightmare.
It highlights the lasting impact of the catastrophe.
Speaking of Chernobyl, got to be the most infamous landmark in Kyiv Oblast, right?
Certainly the most notorious. The Chernobyl exclusion zone, located in the north of the oblast, is a stark reminder of the dangers of nuclear power.
Yeah, not exactly a place you'd want to take a family vacation. But hey, enough with the depressing shit. Let's move on to something a little lighter. I was checking out this 7 Wonders of Ukraine list, and Kyiv Oblast has some pretty badass nominees. What the hell is a Lutych Platzdarm?
The Lutych Platzdarm is a historical site from World War II, a crucial bridgehead on the Dnieper River, used by the Soviet army during the liberation of Kyiv.
See, told you it was badass. But apart from historical battlefields, there are like a zillion cities and towns in this oblast.
26 cities, to be exact.
Like Bila Tserkva, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal with this Alexandria landscape garden?
Alexandria is a magnificent example of 19th century landscape architecture. Imagine sprawling lawns, exotic plants, even artificial ruins designed to evoke those romantic landscapes.
Sounds a hell of a lot more interesting than the rusty swing set I grew up with. But hold on, something else really blew my mind. Kyiv Oblast's economy. We're talking tires, excavators, potatoes, eggs, the whole shebang. It's like they have a finger in every goddamn pie.
You've hit the nail on the head. Kyiv Oblast isn't just some backwater political hub. It plays a vital role in Ukraine's economy, a major center for manufacturing agriculture.
And speaking of connections, holy shit, the transportation network is insane. It's like a spiderweb on crack.
It is quite extensive. Roads, railways, pipelines, especially vital for connecting the region to the rest of Ukraine. And the gas pipelines, in particular, have become even more crucial given the current, well, the whole war situation and Europe's energy needs.
Yeah, no shit. But let's steer clear of politics for now. So another thing that surprised me, the sheer number of schools in Kyiv Oblast. We're talking specialized ones for gifted kids.
Education is a top priority in Ukraine, and Kyiv Oblast takes nurturing talent very seriously. They have this whole network of schools for gifted kids.
Sounds intense. Wonder what kind of pressure those kids are under.
It reflects the region's commitment to educational excellence. And you have institutions like the Brovary Higher School of Physical Education, a real training ground for world-class athletes, Olympic medalists, and so on.
Damn, that's some next-level shit. So, to recap,
Yeah.
we've got this insanely large oblast, the whole Chernobyl situation, badass historical sites, a mind-blowing economy, a transportation network straight out of a cyberpunk novel, and an army of mini Einsteins running around.
Yeah.
What else is there to unpack about Kyiv Oblast?
Well, we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, there's more?
But before we go any deeper, we should probably acknowledge the elephant in the room, the 2022 invasion and its impact.
Right. Can't exactly talk about Kyiv Oblast without addressing the whole war thing.
The invasion was devastating. Kyiv Oblast was literally on the front lines.
Yeah, I can't imagine what those people went through.
It was a dark period, but thankfully the Ukrainian counteroffensive in the spring of 2022 led to the liberation of Kyiv Oblast from Russian control.
That has been a huge relief.
A major victory. But unfortunately, the threat is far from over. The attack on the Bucha railway station in April 2022 was a grim reminder that the region remains vulnerable.
Fuck, that's messed up. Well, Fingers crossed for peace and a brighter future for Kyiv Oblast. And for all of Ukraine, for that matter.
Indeed. It's a hope we all share. Before we got sidetracked by the whole war thing, remember we were talking about Kyiv Oblast's crazy, diverse economy?
Oh yeah, the tires, potatoes, and excavator thing.
Precisely. From heavy industry to agricultural products, it's all happening there. And you mentioned Ukraine being a big agricultural player.
Yeah, I knew that. Sunflowers, wheat, all that good stuff.
Well, Kyiv Oblast is actually a major producer of those. A huge chunk of Ukraine's grain, sugar beets, and sunflower seeds come from that region.
Damn. So they're feeding the whole country.
Pretty much. Not to mention a ton of meat, milk, and eggs. They've got it all.
Enough to fuel an army of babushkas making breakfast. So we've covered the cities, the economy, transportation, even those crazy schools for gifted kids. Anything else we missed about Kyiv Oblast?
Well, we haven't really talked about the people who live there, the demographics, not just ethnicity, but things like age distribution, too.
Oh, right, the actual humans. I guess we were so focused on the place itself, kind of forgot about the people.
Understanding the demographics can be pretty eye-opening, gives you a glimpse into the social and economic dynamics of the region.
All right, hit me with it. What's the demographic breakdown of Kyiv Oblast?
Well, as you might expect, Ukrainians make up the vast majority of the population, over 92%.
Makes sense. But it can't be a totally homogenous crowd, right?
You're right. You've also got Russians, Jews, Belarusians, Poles, among others. Reflects the region's history as a crossroads between East and West.
Gotcha. So what about the age thing? Mostly young folks, old folks, or a good mix?
Interestingly, Kyiv Oblast has a slightly older median age than the city of Kyiv itself. The median age in the oblast is 39.7 years.
Huh. Didn't expect that. Why is that, you think?
Probably a combination of factors. Migration patterns, economic opportunities. Younger folks are probably drawn to the city for work or education, while older residents might prefer the quieter, more affordable lifestyle of the oblast.
Yeah, I can see that. The city's got that hustle and bustle that appeals to the younger crowd. Older folks maybe want a bit more peace and quiet.
Exactly. And this difference in age distribution has all sorts of ripple effects. Healthcare needs, social services, even political preferences.
Damn, demographics are way more interesting than I thought. Like a snapshot of a region's soul.
You could say that. And understanding these trends helps us understand the challenges and opportunities facing Kyiv Oblast, especially as it recovers and rebuilds from the war.
Deep stuff, man. So, any other hidden gems of knowledge about Kyiv Oblast you want to drop on us?
Well, we've hit the main points, but there's always more to discover. We could maybe zoom in on a specific city or town, or explore some of the cultural contributions of the region.
Yeah, the cultural scene. What's that like in Kyiv Oblast? Is it all traditional Ukrainian folk music and dancing, or is there more to it?
It's a region with a rich tradition for sure,
Yeah.
but there's also a vibrant contemporary art scene. For example, Biela Tserkva has a number of theaters, museums, and art galleries.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. I always think of Kyiv when I think of Ukrainian culture, but it sounds like Kyiv Oblast holds its own.
It definitely does. And one of the most unique aspects of the region's cultural heritage is its icon painting style.
Icon painting. That's pretty specific. Tell me more.
Kyiv Oblast has a long and rich tradition of icon painting, which is basically the creation of religious images on wood panels. And the style that developed in this region is quite distinctive, influenced by the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra painting school.
Okay, so what makes this style so special?
Well, for one, it's characterized by the use of deep, dark colors like purple and black. You'll see saints often depicted against these somber backgrounds, their clothes dark, their halos dark blue or green, and the outlines are done in thin, white, dotted lines.
Right, that's intense. Kind of gothic almost.
It's a powerful and evocative style, reflects the region's deep spirituality and artistic talent.
So where can you actually see these icons? Are they hidden away in some dusty museum, or are they on display?
You can see a remarkable collection of them at the Museum of Ukrainian Home Icons in the Radomysl Castle.
Radomysl Castle. Sounds intriguing.
It's a historic castle that's been beautifully restored and transformed into a cultural center.
Okay, that's definitely going on my list of places to check out if I ever make it to Ukraine. So we've covered demographics, the economy, transportation, schools, and now even the cultural scene. What's left?
I think we've given a pretty comprehensive picture of Kyiv Oblast.
Yeah, I think our listeners have gotten a pretty good taste of what this region is all about.
From its fascinating history and diverse culture to its economic significance and resilience in the face of adversity, Kyiv Oblast is a region worth knowing about.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, folks, that's it for part 2 of our Kyiv Oblast deep dive. We'll be back in part 3 to wrap things up and leave you with some final thoughts on this remarkable region. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, stay curious. Back for more, you knowledge-hungry bastards. Welcome to the grand finale of our Kyiv Oblast deep dive.
Indeed.
We've dug deep into this crazy place. From its turbulent history and wild culture to its economic mojo and the sheer resilience of its people.
We've uncovered hidden gems like the Alexandria Landscape Garden and explored the region's unique religious art with its somber colors and haunting imagery.
And let's not forget about those badass kids training for the Olympics and Nobel Prizes.
Quite a remarkable region.
But, like with any deep dive, we're left with some questions.
Always. Kyiv Oblast, it's got this strategic importance, massive economic potential, but then there's the whole war thing looming over everything. So what does the future hold for this place?
Shit, man, I wish I had a crystal ball. But I guess we can try to make some educated guesses based on what we've learned.
Let's play futurist for a moment. First off, let's be real. Kyiv Oblast's future is tied to the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Yeah, no shit. The region's recovery and long-term stability hinge on peace and security. But even if we put the war aside for a second, Kyiv Oblast has a lot going for it. It's got this awesome combination of agricultural power and industrial strength.
Absolutely. A solid foundation for economic growth, especially if they can attract investment and further develop their infrastructure.
And let's not forget about those brilliant kids coming out of those specialized schools. They're going to be a huge asset in the future.
Indeed. That emphasis on education could very well turn Kyiv Oblast into a hub for innovation and technological advancement.
So, if I were a betting man, I'd say Kyiv Oblast has the potential to become a real powerhouse. But it's going to be a long and probably pretty bumpy road to get there.
A fair assessment. It's a region defined by both resilience and uncertainty. Only time will tell what the future holds, but one thing is clear. Kyiv Oblast is a region worth watching.
Damn straight. All right, you magnificent bastards. That's it for our Kyiv Oblast deep dive. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about this often overlooked part of the world.
It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the power of culture, and the enduring hope for a better future.
Preach. So next time someone mentions Kyiv Oblast, you could drop some serious knowledge bombs on them. Tell them about that town, what was it?
Slavutich, yes. The town trapped in geographical limbo because of Chernobyl.
And don't forget to mention those kids training to be future Olympians and Nobel Prize winners.
Kyiv Oblast, a region of contrasts, complexities, and above all, resilience.
Well, folks, that's all we got for today. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Peace out.